Today we're taking a look at the all-new DJI Avata, this new FPV drone. Wait, fuck that. So I was supposed to make a video about this new drone for a drone company called DroneNerds that I've been working for the past 7 years, but circumstances have changed drastically in the past few weeks. So for you to understand what's happening, let me just give you a quick summary of the last 7 years with DroneNerds. I started working with DroneNerds in 2015. My job was basically to grow the DroneNerds social media presence and produce content for their Instagram. I did that. I felt like I did a very fucking good job at that. When I first started, they maybe had 100 followers on Instagram. Nobody in the world had an idea what DroneNerds was, who DroneNerds was, and practically they still don't know who DroneNerds is, other than the fact that I am the face of DroneNerds. Now, obviously, I can claim, that I'm the face of DroneNerds, that when I go places, people come up to me and go, hey, I watch your drone videos. Hey, I follow your Instagram, DroneNerds. Yeah, cool. But, whatever. It is what it is. Everybody is expendable, right? Today, the DroneNerds Instagram has 333,000 followers, thanks to my dedication, my vision, and my ideas. And like I said, my face was the brand of this company for the last 7 years. And over the last 7 years of working with DroneNerds, I went to countless events around the USA. I was featured as a speaker at events. I basically was just the guy, the DroneNerds guy. And I felt like I had a really good relationship with the CEO and owner. The same CEO and owner that needed my help driving his boat. He bought a brand new boat. He didn't know how to drive it. So he called me up and said, hey, can you help me drive your boat? So we were on that level. I wasn't just some employee. I wasn't just some guy that they hired who never really, talked to him or interacted with him. I was going to his house, helping with, park his boat. Hey, I'll gladly come help you park your boat because you don't know how to park a boat, whatever. So long story short, I put a lot of effort, a lot of energy into the DroneNerds brand. And yes, I was paid. I was paid over the last 7 years. I'm not denying that fact. I never asked for much. I never asked for reimbursements for gas, for expenses to produce content over the last 7 years. I very rarely really asked for much at all. So 2 weeks ago, I woke up like normal here in Hawaii at 3 a.m. I went to check my email. It wouldn't load. I checked Instagram. I couldn't log in. I thought I had been hacked, but then I thought, holy shit, are they firing me? Are they literally going to block me out of everything and then just fire me without actually telling me, with no heads up, no actual communication at all? And I thought, that's impossible, right? Like 7 years. There's no way it's going to end like this. But that's exactly what they did. So I gave the CEO a call. It was really interesting because I called him up and I was like, hey, what's going on? He said, oh, I was going to call you. I was going to call you when you woke up. Basically, I was going to block you out of everything. I'm going to block you out of the Instagram, and I'm going to call you afterwards telling you that you're fired. And to my amazement, I'm just like, how the fuck is that even possible? How the fuck can you justify that? After 7 years of me working for this company, after me, going above and beyond for this company, that's how it all has to end. And the thing is, I understand, businesses have to pivot, they have to evolve, whatever. Like if they can't afford to pay me, that's totally fine. But at no point did they express any type of concern. At no point did they tell me like, hey, Patrick, we got to figure out something else. Maybe we can like talk about a different arrangement. Nothing. It was literally just block me and just hope that I just run away and never talk about anything ever again. And I think they really kind of underestimated the severity of the situation. The CEO of DroneNerds tried to apologize, saying that he was going to call me, oh, I'm so sorry. His excuse was basically that he didn't know how to just, how to discuss this. He didn't know how to handle this. But you're the CEO of a company and you don't know how to talk to one of your employees or one of your, people that you've been working with for the last 7 years to explain to them that, hey, we can't afford to pay you anymore. And it's totally fine. Like I said, I would have been totally fine if he would have gave me a call and said, hey, Patrick, we got to figure out something. But instead, to go and block me and to do it the way they did it, I just think that's fucking very, very shady. I mean, it's very cowardly. It's very unprofessional. 7 years I put into this brand. And like I said, it wasn't that I was, working in the warehouse. I wasn't I wasn't a janitor of this company. I was basically the face of this company, the brand. When I go places, people see me like, hey, you're Patrick from DroneNerds. Oh, you're DroneNerds. But it's funny because the other people that work at DroneNerds, nobody has a fucking clue, who else works at DroneNerds. And the funny thing is, they call themselves DroneNerds, but I would say a majority of the employees have no clue how to even fly a drone. So the furthest from actual nerds, it's mostly just a bunch of people that are trying to peddle whatever kind of bullshit drones they have at the time, whatever DJI is trying to sell them. And that's the best part, is DroneNerds is the biggest bitch when it comes to DJI. If DJI took a shit on a platter and told DroneNerds that they had to eat it, they would be like, okay, no problem, I'll eat that. DroneNerds is a website that sells drones. DJI is a Chinese company that sells direct to consumers. They also use dealers to basically peddle off crap that they can't sell on their website. They'll sell, older drones, enterprise, stuff like that. And that's what leads me to kind of the next evolution of this. What was so funny is that the CEO of the company told me over the phone call, oh, the reason that, we're firing you is because, DJI said that our Instagram's not enterprise enough, that our Instagram isn't, really telling the story that we're an enterprise brand, that we sell drones that are enterprise. But what's so amazing about this whole thing is a few years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, I told the company, like, hey, look, like, we really need to build a enterprise kind of brand, social media brand around what's going on with enterprise. Enterprise is basically, farm equipment, like construction equipment, surveying, inspection, anything that's not a consumer drone. So the enterprise drones is a big market. DroneNerds makes a ton of money selling enterprise drones. There's a insane markup. They sell this to, governments, to local sheriffs and all that kind of stuff. So that's a big business. And I understand that. And I suggested, like, hey, we need to start, building this and like letting that information out there. But the CEO of the company told me, hey, no, just focus on the DroneNerds. Just focus on, the one account. And the thing is, it's not like I've been slacking. Just recently, DroneNerds Instagram had one of the best months ever in terms of interaction and exposure to the brand. And getting eyeballs on the brand, obviously, is the focus, right? Instagram is a way to build a brand. It's a way to build a brand identity. And another funny point about my conversation with the CEO is that he told me, oh, I could have done this differently. I could have done this better. Well, a little late for that, right? Like a little late to kind of like try to fuck someone over and then tell them later, like, oh, I could have done this better. I'm not a very good CEO. I'm not very good at managing people. I just play pretend, I'm sorry. I hope you forgive me. Like, this is business. I get it. Like I said, if you would have came to me as a professional and said, Patrick, like, I want to propose to you that, like, we need to do something else. We got to, like, kind of move things around. 7 years of working with you, it's been great, but, like, it's just not working. You live in Hawaii now. That's totally fine. I would have been 100% professional. I would have said, look, I understand. I get it. It's time to, pivot, time to make a move. And one of my favorite things about the CEO and the brand is that he loves to hire incompetent employees. I could go on for hours talking about the 7 years of dealing with just terrible, terrible employees at DroneNerds. Guys that have literally no clue. Just absolutely, not even just like drones, but just business in general. I have no idea where he hires people at. And, people can say, oh, well, maybe you're not very good at your job, but I think the proof is in the pudding. I grew the DroneNerds page from nothing to the second largest page on Instagram that covers drones. There's basically DJI and then there's DroneNerds. And that's where we were. We were the authority when it came to drones on Instagram. Over the last 7 years, DroneNerds has hired, I'd say, 3 or 4 different directors of marketing. I have no idea where he hires these directors of marketing. Because the thing is, everyone thinks they're a fucking director of marketing, right? Like, everyone thinks, oh, yeah, no, I worked for a company. I did some marketing. Oh, yeah, I know all about marketing. But it's so funny because every single director of marketing has no clue how to actually market. The actual current director of marketing, I don't even know where she came from. She told me she had a college degree. Who, like, fucking, like, it mattered. Like, I give a fuck that she had a college degree. I didn't go to college for marketing, and I could basically, market around, a circle around her. But that's, besides the point. Hell, the last marketing director got caught doing lines of cocaine in the bathroom at work. And I don't think she even got fired because of that. So for me to get fired for actually doing my job, it's kind of funny. I should have went and done cocaine in the bathroom and just said, screw it. I don't care. I do coke all I want in the bathroom. It's Miami, right? And, I've been kind of going back and forth. I'm like, what do I do here? Do I just walk away? Do I just, end it now and just act like nothing happened? Or, do I make a statement here? Do I make a statement that at the end of the day, these companies, these CEOs, these businesses that just treat people like they're fucking expendable, like that people just like deserve just to get fucked over, like that is such a shitty way of running a business. It's such a shitty way of being a person, right? Like, if you're going to be a CEO of a company, like if you're going to run a company and there's somebody that works for you and like puts their time, their effort, and puts all this into your brand, for you just to cut them off like that, like, it just says so much about you. It says so much about your brand. Like, what do you really stand for? And that's exactly what DroneNerds stands for. They don't care about their employees. Do they care about their customers? Who really knows at this point? Obviously, everything that I'm saying here in this video is my opinion. It's not a fact, but I've spent 7 years with this company, so I kind of have a pretty good idea of the inner workings. I have an idea of what's going on with this company, This is their MO. I know other employees I've talked to that said the same thing happened, with them, and it's just very interesting how poorly managed this company really is at the end of the day, and the fact that after 7 years, you just cut someone off without really any notice. Nothing at all. I mean, you just cut their email off, you cut their Instagram off, everything. Just out of the blue for no actual reason. And the funny thing is, just recently, the CEO told me, like, hey, you're doing a great job. Keep going. Keep going. And then, oh, hey, actually, we're firing you because DroneNerds needs to post more enterprise stuff, but actually, we're just going to have some other person that we're not paying a lot of money to take over the Instagram, and we just need you to basically not get paid anymore. My message to DroneNerds is, I hope you see what happens when you try to fuck people over. This is what happens. Maybe you fucked over people in the past, and they had nowhere to stand. They had no platform, but I have a platform. And again, I just think we live in a world now where everyone just accepts the fact that it's okay to get fucked over. There's no loyalty anymore. There's nothing anymore. It's just like, hey, you're just a fucking number on a piece of paper. I put 7 years of my life into this. 7 years. It wasn't like, oh, I worked there for fucking 7 weeks. It wasn't like I was a janitor. I literally put my name, my brand, my face on this. I put my name behind this. Everyone, I was like, hey, DroneNerds, DroneNerds, DroneNerds. I put this out there. The world knows it. Even today in the live stream, somebody asked, like, oh, do you still work for DroneNerds? So it's not like a secret. It was never a secret. So I fulfilled my role. I did my job over the years. We launched countless products. The YouTube had hundreds of thousands of views. And what's so funny is the YouTube went to shit because the marketing director or, their business model of like, hey, let's start posting shitty ass videos that nobody wants to watch on YouTube, on the consumer YouTube, and then let's crush the algorithm so that none of our videos get views. And you can see recently, any of the videos on the DroneNerds channel, the only videos that get views are the ones that I produced. All the other ones, nobody even watches. There's a few like little releases on the new enterprise drones that got some views, but in general, it's just so funny to look and see like all the things that I told them not to do. Don't go and post a bunch of videos on YouTube that no one's going to watch because that's going to mess up the algorithm, and then it's going to mess up, the overall kind of, YouTube in general. Like there needs to be kind of a strategy. There needs to be a plan. And there was never a strategy. There was never a plan. It was basically just a free-for-all of just like, hey, we have no idea what we're doing. We'll just, do this and do this and do this, and we'll just kind of act like we have an idea. So, that was always my battle, basically battling the company on like, hey, we got to do this. So, we need this. I would suggest ideas, suggest plans, and I would get no feedback. I'd send emails, no one would reply. And then it was like, oh shit, we got to do this. And everything was always last minute. Everyone never had an idea what was going on. Most of the employees, like I said, had no idea what's going on. People call in to get advice on a drone, and employees have no idea what they're talking about. So it's just really sad. It's really sad that this company had such great potential, and it was just so poorly, executed in the end. It's not that I got fired. I would have been totally fine if they would have called me, gave me a heads up and said, hey, look, like we gotta kind of figure out something here. I'd have been totally fine with that. But to go and do it the way that they did it, to go and just like do it, behind my back, it's just not acceptable. I'm not going to accept it. I'm not going to just fucking walk away. I'm not going to just act like a little bitch and, put my tail between my legs. Do I look like a bitch? I'm saying no. I'm saying no to this bullshit. And everybody else out there in the world, it's bullshit. It's all bullshit. These fucking companies, these CEOs, they don't give a fuck. People put their lives into these companies, and this is what we get. 7 years of my life. And all I got was basically me getting blocked out of everything, and then me having to call the CEO to find out that I'm getting fired. It's fucking nuts. It's fucking nuts.